Hey, church family, my name is Ryan, and I have the privilege of sharing today's daily devotional from the Gospel of Mark, Mark chapter 13, verses 1 through 13. But I'm actually only going to read from two verses and make two observations for our day today. Number one, admiring the beauty that's in front of us, and number two is anticipating Jesus' return and the day that we get to meet with Jesus face to face. So read with me in Mark chapter 13, verses 1 through 2. As Jesus was leaving the temple that day, one of his disciples said, "Teacher, look at these magnificent buildings. Look at the impressive stones in the walls." And Jesus replied, "Yes, look at these great buildings, but they will be completely demolished. Not one stone will be left on top of the other." You could almost hear an audible gasp by not only this disciple, but the disciples that were around Jesus. You might be wondering, why would they gasp? Well, the temple was the place of worship, and the stones that they were admiring took a very, very long time to build. And people, not only Jewish people, but people from all over the world would come to see this place of worship. It was incredibly magnificent, something to really behold and stop and look at and almost like take your breath away. So what does Jesus say to the disciples? He says, "Yes, look at these great buildings." So take a look at them. They are phenomenal, something of incredible beauty, but they will be completely demolished. So he's admitting that these things are incredibly great and incredibly valuable to the disciples and to the entire world. But then he makes this really interesting point. Everything you're looking at will be demolished. Now, Jesus was specifically speaking about the future in 70 AD when the temple would be crushed in war. But he's also speaking about a time that we will one day meet him face to face. Now, how do I know this? Because the rest of this chapter, Jesus begins speaking about future things, things that all Christians and all disciples should anticipate upon his return. So as you're living your day-to-day life, can I encourage you with a couple things? Admire God's creation and admire the beauty that's in front of us. Absolutely. But keep in your foresight, keep in your line of view the fact that one day we will see Jesus. And all these buildings and all these crazy things that man has built will crumble and erode over time. And the most important, the most beautiful thing that we will get to admire is Jesus. Now, just a point of reference as we're moving forward, I cannot encourage you enough to read the rest of chapter 13, because Jesus is going to name every single thing that will happen prior to his return. So as you're going throughout your day, three things to keep in mind. Number one, admire the beauty that's in front of us. Number two, keep Jesus and eternity in our view. And number three, read the rest of chapter 13 and let it soak into your heart as we anticipate the future arrival of Christ. I hope this blesses your day and encourages you as we just go about our life together. Amen.